Hello and welcome to this weekend's qualification report. This week it's for Birmingham Supercross, the very first time they've raced in Alabama. That's pretty awesome to see. If you don't know, qualification report is where I give you basically a 10-minute summary or around 10 minutes of today's 3+ hour-long qualifying sessions. Now, before I get into today's video, issue number 7 of my magazine, right here. It's got Aaron Plessinger on it, kind of ironic. Issue 7 has number 7 on it. Didn't even think of that, but I got a small stack of these left. Huge thanks to all of you guys who already bought a copy or became a MagPass subscriber. If you haven't, head to my website, links in the description. All right, some pre-qualifying info for you in a video on screen. It's been a rainy mess in Birmingham all week, which is kind of weird for Alabama. I don't think they get a week's worth of rain. I guess the rain's just following the circuit this year. They had to cancel press day yesterday, and I believe even practice today. So they had to also change the build of the track. They eliminated the whoop section, replaced it with kind of a roller-ish section, which is going to affect the race tonight heavily, as you can see in this video. Anyway, yeah, track's different. You can see it on screen. They got quite a bit of rain, but it's shaping up to be pretty good, as you'll see. All right, 250 qualifying session 1. Seth Hammaker came out on top. Seth wasn't doing much different from every other rider out there, just hitting triples that most wouldn't at this time. He paced himself. He minimized sliding out his back tire. He didn't lose grip almost ever. So he was really riding under control, which ended up being faster because it was so slick out there. Most guys were rushing a bit and sliding out, slowing down their times. Now, they didn't play much of him on the broadcast, as Race Day Live does. They ignored the most important guys in the session. They only played the popular riders, as they do. Anyway, I did catch a couple glimpses out there. You'll see that on screen, but obviously he's got something right, even if I can't narrow it down by the video footage we can see. All right, second place, Max Anstie with a 57.342. The points leader, he just kind of followed in Hammaker's lead for most of it. That's where you saw Hammaker for most of the footage in this was ahead of Anstie. But you could watch the lines he was doing, or Anstie could watch the lines that Hammaker was doing. He did just as he did, just apparently not as good. I can't tell where he was losing time. I'm assuming the corners, Hammaker had those down pretty good. Anstie just didn't carry his momentum as fast as Hammaker would, but overall, P2 for Max Anstie, not a bad start to the day. P3, Haiden Deegan, the defending Supermotocross champion. He had a 58.093. Deegan started off on top early in the session, never really improving his time. From what I saw, he took more of an aggro approach, as is his riding style, and it proved to be slower in the muddy conditions, but he's still a contender. As you can see, he slides out a little bit, really drifts through the corners, kind of hitting his back brake, sliding, but apparently it wasn't faster, so P3 ain't bad, but he's just got to figure something out to be with those top two guys. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the top 10 here. Daytona winner, Tom Vialle, keeping up the momentum. He had P3 a couple weeks ago, P1 last week, and now he qualifies 4th. That's really good momentum. Hopefully Tom can carry it through to tonight. I'm a huge fan of Tom. I'm a big MXGP fan, so it's awesome to see him finally gaining success here in America. But yeah, 4th place is awesome for him. Jalek Swoll, he's kind of had an up and down go at his Triumph debut this year, but 5th is a good start to the day. McAdoo kind of struggled that session with 6th. Bennick, never really saw much of him that session. 7th ain't bad, though. J. Martin, 8th. Chance Hymas, 9th. And Pierce Brown, 10th. Nothing weird about these finishes. Here's what Seth had to say after topping the first session.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenging track when it's soft like this, where we're breaking it in. There's kind of some holes that you can't really see or judge, so it's definitely challenging. Keeps you on your toes, but I feel like I was able to put down a pretty good lap. Just try to be consistent, stay out of the soft holes, and try to do a couple triples in the rhythm sections. It's tough, but feeling good, ready for the day.
A job well done.
All right, on to 450 qualifying session number 1. P1 was Jett Lawrence, 56.482. Surprisingly, not much faster than 250 qualifier Seth Hammaker. Jett had a really interesting style in the session, though, as you can see on screen, and as you should know by now, he does. He had a combination of the aggro-like Deegan kind of style, but kind of conservative in the corners, which is the important part. He minimized wheel spin. Obviously, it's slick, so that was smart on him. That's where he gained most of his time. He also had a triple into the corner, as you can see on screen, before the step-on, step-off, before the finish line. Most guys weren't hitting it in either session, so that was kind of his advantage in this session. But yeah, good start to the day for Jett. In P2, we have Ken Roczen, 56.635, coming in just a bit slower than Hammaker, and behind Jett is Ken Roczen. He looked really good out there. He was actually the first one to hit that triple in the session. The one before the corner, like I mentioned with Jett, he was the first one to do it. He just wasn't doing it as fast as Jett was. Other than that, he really stood out in the corners just as Jett did. He didn't have the aggressive move into the corners like Jett did. He just carried his momentum, which obviously turned out to be a good move. P3 Chase Sexton, 56.762. Chase was doing much of the same and hitting the same lines as the other two guys, but he was not hitting that triple in. That's probably the biggest differentiation between the top guys right now. The track is kind of one-lined at this time, so if Chase wants to battle with them, he's going to have to do it later tonight. That's the big separation between these top three guys at the moment. Either way, still a good start for Sexton. Now, after that, everyone was in the 57 to 58 second range, starting with Eli Tomac, then his teammate Justin Cooper. They looked good out there. They just weren't doing the triple, falling behind in the corners. AP in 6th, Cooper Webb in 7th. Cian Cerullo with a good 8th. I was surprised with that. That was a good one. 9th for Justin Barcia. He's been struggling lately, and Benny Bloss keeping the momentum after having an incredible first top 10 on beta last weekend in Daytona, so he's keeping his momentum up as well. Something I'd like to mention that happened in the session was Malcolm Stewart taking a spill. It wasn't a big crash, but I figured I'd show you guys anyway in case you didn't watch it. Here's that clip. All right, let's take a listen to what Jett had to say after qualifying first in this session. Here's that.
I've definitely taken away. It's a lot slower than last week, and I could say that. So, but no, it's kind of like experimenting with the track almost, because you don't know where the soft spots are. Some soft spots are coming up, some aren't. So it's like kind of just feeling the track out. You're not full on sending it. So, but no, it feels weird doing the qualifying straight up like this. But no, we're looking forward to the night. Thank gosh. Hopefully the rain stays away, because for how much rain we've gotten, the track looks really, really good. So no, excited for tonight.
All right, on to 250 overall. P1 Max Anstie, 54.172. He squeezed it out in the end. The last lap, Anstie was really laying down good laps throughout the entire session, especially that last one. He nailed it. He said coming into tonight that he has to go out there and get the job done. He's got the red plate, and he has to prove why he has it, and he needs to keep it. Again, he really nailed that triple in into the corner I was mentioning, into that section early in the session. Overall, a great quality session for Max, and I'm sure this confidence will help him in the main event tonight. P2, we have Seth Hammaker, 54.176. That is one of the closest times I've seen in a while in the 250 class. He had it until the final lap when Max pulled off a slightly faster lap. Not much to say about Seth, except he's going to be a top contender tonight. They really didn't show him much in the broadcast, but you could tell by the glimpses of him off focus on the camera that he's really fast, he's doing really well in the corners, and that's kind of where he's separating himself. So hopefully that carries into the night show when it gets all ruddy. He was really doing good in the corners in this session, in both sessions actually, when it was slippery in the first one and more dry in the second one. So hopefully he can carry that momentum into the final main event tonight and maybe get another podium. That'd be awesome to see for Seth and the PC team. All right, P3, Tom Vialle, 54.304. Vialle is looking to carry his momentum from the past couple weeks with his podium and his victory in Daytona. He started off slow tonight, but not really slow, fourth. But in the first session, he was just a little bit off pace. In this one, he's really close to the top two guys, so expect this Daytona winner to be a top guy in tonight's race. I'm looking forward to see what Vialle has. All right, let's go down the list from there. In fourth place, Cameron McAdoo. He tried to follow Hammaker a few laps, just couldn't nail down as fast of a lap as him, but still looking good. Pierce Brown in fifth. He moved up pretty good. That's where he's kind of remained in his results this year, is around P5. Daxon Bennick, he actually had the fastest qualifying time for a little bit there, but fell to sixth. He couldn't really nail down another fast lap. J Mart moved up to seventh. Nick Romano put himself in the top 10. Awesome to see for the New York City kid. Hymus remaining consistent, and Haiden Deegan fell all the way to 10th. He did crash in this session, though, and let's look at that right now. His mistake on his second attempt, I think it was second lap, he was doing that triple into the corner I spoke about earlier. Here's that clip. It wasn't that bad of a crash, but I figured I'd show it to you. All right, here's your fastest qualifier. Let's hear what Max Anstie had to say about qualifying P1 on the very last lap of the qualifying session.
Man, it's a tricky track, and without Supercross whoops, it's hard to make up much time. Of course, we got a lot of rain yesterday. But you know, my crew are here to do business, and we're here to do work, and we got this red plate for a reason. So it's been a solid first 3 rounds, but you know, up and down. Now we've got to come out of this one on top and put on a good show tonight.
A job well done, and like he said in his
All right, on to the 450 overall. Right off the bat in the final 450 session, Jason Anderson crashed into Jett. It looks like Anderson just hit some bumps, maybe missed his brakes, or Brayton also mentioned it could be they replaced the brake pads and forgot to pump them up. Therefore, he didn't have any brakes and hit Jett. Nobody's fault, really. I don't think anybody was too angry about it. Just a minor mishap, but here's that clip. All right, so in P1, we have Jett Lawrence again with a 52.777 lap time. As you can see, it was quite faster. In the second session, the track dried up pretty good. He rose back up to P1 in Q2 tonight. The track is really drying up and shaping up well. Jett separated himself in this session, as you can see on screen. Jett was actually gaining a lot of time by wheeling through the bumps in that S-turn section. It might not seem like much, but when everyone's doing the same lines and the same jumps, any differentiating section can gain you a lot of time and an advantage, and that's what happened for Jett. P2, Chase Sexton with a 52.928, just a little off from Jett. He looked great, held first place for a minute or so, but he just didn't have that edge that Jett had. He wasn't hitting the S-turn how he was, and that's, I think, where he lost the time, that 0.2 seconds off. But still, looking great for tonight. It's going to be a close one. P3, Eli Tomac, 52.991. Eli was kind of doing the same as Sexton throughout the session. Wasn't doing much different. Same rhythm, same lines. And again, he just wasn't doing the S-turn as fast as Jett. They almost matched times, him and Sexton. So I think that is, again, the spot that's going to differentiate the race tonight. It's going to separate Jett from the rest of the crowd. So they're going to have to pick it up. Maybe they watch the footage and change the way they do things. But yeah, they're still close in lap times. It's going to be great racing tonight. In P4, we had Jay Coop. He did top the times at one point, but just fell slightly. Same with Cooper Webb. Malcolm Stewart surprisingly up in 6th. Maybe he's having a little comeback here after a decent ride last weekend. Well, according to standards for this year. And then 7th place, Ken Roxon. Justin Barsha in 8th, staying consistent today. Hopefully he can turn things around. Aaron Plessinger in 9th and Jason Anderson in 10th. Now, let's take a listen to what your fastest qualifier had to say. Here's Jett Lawrence.
It was definitely faster. You can push a little bit more, but it's like a fine balance because the dirt just grabs you and can kind of send you anywhere. So it's really critical to hit your marks and hit your lines because if it goes cross-rutted, these ruts grab you and can throw you. So, but no, it was good to get that last kind of heater then. And yeah, no, the boys are riding good this weekend, so excited to go for racing.
best of luck.
Well, that's all for today's qualifying report. What do you guys think? Who will come out on top today? Can Jett extend his points lead? Maybe Eli or Anderson get their first win of the season? What about the 250s? Can Anstie hold the red plate? Let me know your thoughts and who you're rooting for in the comments down below. Thank you for watching and see you in next week's qualification report.